on energy increased. It was learned that by combining oxygen with carbon and hydrogen atoms, carbon dioxide and water are produced. Scientists then tried to understand the role of oxygen in photosynthesis by learning about the process of its formation and replenishment in air. Initially, they learned that energy situation can also reverse. Later, a Dutch scientist, Jan Ingenhousz, studied the way in which plants formed oxygen. In 1779, he observed that the formation of oxygen occurs only in the presence of light. In an experiment with the aquatic plant hydrilla, he noticed that in bright sunlight, small bubbles are formed around the green parts, while no bubbles were formed in the dark. He also discovered that the gas present inside the bubbles was oxygen. In the early 20th century, Engelmann inventively identified the point of maximum photosynthesis by exposing a strand of algae to different colors of light, the colors that are present in a rainbow. He used oxygen-sensitive bacteria and discovered certain crowded areas which illuminated under red and blue lights. This directs to study more on light and photosynthesis and the role of different colored compounds called plant pigments and the use of light. Now, let us do an activity to learn about the production of oxygen during photosynthesis in the presence of sunlight. Here, let us perform an activity to understand how oxygen is produced during photosynthesis in the presence of sunlight. Click each tab to know more. Consider the apparatus shown in the image. Take a beaker and fill it with pond water. Place water plant like hydrilla or elodie inside the beaker and cover it by a short stem funnel. Take a test tube and invert it over the stem of the funnel. Ensure that the level of water in the beaker must be above the level of the end of inverted funnel. Place the entire assembly of apparatus in the sunlight for at least 3 days. It is observed that in place of water, air is filled in it. This air is actually a gas and is collected in the test tube. Test the gas collected in the test tube by inserting a glowing incense stick, which would burst into flames. This indicates the presence of oxygen. The air bubbles formed in the test tube is of oxygen gas. Thus, it is clear from this activity that oxygen is produced during the process of photosynthesis in the presence of sunlight. Here, let us perform an activity to learn about the need of sunlight in the formation of starch. Click each tab to know more. Take a plant having destarched leaves, that is, a plant which is placed in the dark for 3 days. Remember the process of destarching the leaves as performed in activity 1, presence of starch in leaves. Wrap one of its leaves with black paper on which a design is cut. Fix the black paper on the leaf with the help of clips such that light should not enter the dark part. Now, place this plant in the sunlight for few hours. Later, test the leaf that is covered by black paper for the presence of starch by pouring iodine solution on the leaf. the changes in the leaf. It is observed that only the parts of the leaf which are exposed to the light through cut-out design turn to blue-black, indicating the presence of starch. From the experiment, we learned that starch is formed only at the parts where sunlight falls. In this way, it is clear that sunlight is compulsory for the formation of starch. Knowledge check. Attempt the following questions to check your understanding.